Here's another video for the Voyager that should help some of you guys out there. So you have Kawasaki and a few other places having the audacity to sell this thing for $56, $58. Really? Seriously? And then of course it comes with a neat little piece of sponge, and ooh god, the sponge, oh yeah, that's worth $56, $58. Okay, so I'll put a link. I found a place that actually makes this for the Kawasaki with the original plug, and they give you a nice gold plated, we call it jack, that actually goes into, you know, your iPod, or for me, this is just a an MP3 player, which will be really nice. The sponge here, whenever I buy something like a grill or something like that, it usually comes with big square blocks of foam. In fact, I use a couple of those spare, those white blocks in the roof of my FJ Cruiser as a spacer and filler for when I put the overhead sunglass holder / map light console, and that's another video that's on my site. So I kind of took it, came up with a shape, but it was white. I didn't like that, so I just took the old undercoating, but this is rubberized, and gave it a couple coats, so it's pliable, and at the same time it's you know, it's black. So this is what I'm basically going to be used to shove in there to kind of hold things in place. I'll probably cut and figure out how I want to have this where I can slide in and hold this so it doesn't bounce around along with the cord. So what I did for now, when I first bought the bike, of course I had the two pigtails and stuff in here, and it came through that hole. That's a solid grommet without a hole in it and stuff, and I use it as a plug, and I might use that or even another grommet to put in this place where that hole is. And again, that's where the original wires came through, and I almost took up this whole thing. You had to kind of jam them out of the way and all that stuff. So what I had done is I had taken this off, which I'll do again today, take the grill and take the speaker off to open this all up. That gives me plenty of room to reach in, and the two wires that were in there, I had them just kind of wrapped and tie wrapped inside of here to another piece of wire, so they're out of the way until I need them. Well, guess what? Now I need them. So let's go ahead and get this off, and I can show you what I'm talking about. Alright, for those of you folks that have never done this, 4mm Allen wrench. I just happen to have Allen sockets, which make it nice. So you take these two screws out here with the Allen, kind of over there, taking this off and stuff over and over again. But those two screws come out. There's a couple of, there's a tooth that fits up in here. And these are the bad ones, guys. Let me tell you about these. Alright, what I mean by bad, and that was being nice, is I'll be honest, these are a big pain in the ass. Okay, so be very careful. This is one of those rubber grommets with a nut cert built into it. And if you push or pull or something like that, it's going to fall down into your fairing. Hopefully, it'll just fall straight down. The same with these. These are another pain in the butt. They're rubber, they press in, and you can see down in here, you can see the nut inside. That's what's actually up behind here too. Kawasaki used them quite a bit, and they're nice until, you know, you do it wrong or you start to get it frustrated and don't know it, and you're pushing, and then these basically push through, or the ones behind here, which I'll show you, push through, and they actually fell. Mine actually fell straight down. I lost one of these. It went straight down, so I took this out, took these three Phillips screws out here, which I'll do, and then I could actually see it, so I was able to pop it into place. But these aren't as bad. However, they're still a pain in the ass. And again, if you push them through and you can't see them inside here, they might have rolled down the front, and then guess what? You get to take your whole fairing off. So the best thing to do with these things is to start the screw lightly until you feel it bite, and keep doing it lightly until it gets close, and then you can start torquing down on it to go ahead and tighten this up. I like the way that Kawasaki did that. However, they are a pain in the ass. So let me go ahead and get the speaker out. And be very careful with those little rubber nut certs there. And you'll be able to see them once I pull this plastic kind of reflector box out of the way. These are actually some marine grade speakers. You can see the magnets are just monstrous. The original speakers, they were okay. Magnets were about this wide, about that deep. I mean, just not able to do a lot. And you could tell these would work better with an amplifier. I did buy these in a package of 4, and I'll show you where I ordered those from, just in case I ever decide to do the speaker pods back here. That way I'll have 4 of the same speakers. But for now, there they are there. And the way this works on these, because they're not labeled that well, I'll show you. I don't know why a long time ago, at least they used to have some sort of markings that told you what was what, which one was positive, which one was negative. If you're ever not sure, you can take a like a 1.5 volt pen light battery or something like that, along this low voltage, and touch these with it and stuff. And if the speaker pushes out, you've got them hooked up right. If it goes in, you've got the polarity backwards. And this one here, I'll tell you, if you do these speakers here, Poke Audio, GB521s, again, I'll show you the link to those. But the larger one is the positive, and the smaller one is the negative. And on the bike, the black is the positive and the white's the negative. So that's basically that in a nutshell. And the biggest thing is when you go to put this back together, I'll make sure I do it this time. Just have this little baffle. This baffle somewhere close, because I went ahead and put this all together and then saw this sitting on a bench. I'm like, gotta do it again. So it was a pain in the butt. So just so I get some more light, so I'm going to do with this one. I don't forget it's going to sit right here in the seat, so it's right in my face. Again, these are the wires here that go to the speaker, and they actually go up inside this little hole, which is a channel that comes out right there. And inside here, these are the actual wires that I'm going to be using to power that new adapter that I just got. And I've got them sitting in there right now, just kind of tie wrapped. That's why I use an orange tie wrap, so it would stick out. And I'll do the same thing. I'll make sure that the connections are made, it's all tie wrapped up, and just the long wire will be available inside the box. So to give myself more light, I'm going to take these out, 3 Phillips head screws, and this comes right out. Take those 3 screws out, this thing nice gently lifts right out, giving you all kinds of room. These are the culprits here, an absolute total freaking pain in the ass. Again, they just press into place, and it's real easy when you're pushing this, you're putting these screws in, to push too hard and push these through. Luckily, mine actually fell and ended up right here. I was able to find that one. One guy, his went somewhere, I think it actually went through here, and he never saw it again. So that's basically that. So see, it gives me plenty of room now to get in here. This was an existing wire bundle here that I tie wrapped it with this orange tie wrap. And now the big moment of truth, and oh, these covers that are on here, guys, I just had spare covers laying around. Whenever I buy something or take something apart, if it comes with some sort of cover, I just have a little place up here that I keep all that stuff in, along with everything else. And that way I have lots of covers and I can try to make them fit. Sometimes they're really, really snug, so I kind of warm them up with a heat gun and then push them on. So I think this one here is the one that we need. So let me make sure that my wiring harness fits. Again, I believe this came with a battery. One of the batteries I use in the house, I think it's the alarm system battery. Or actually, no, I think it was a motorcycle battery. But anyway, I keep this shit. You know what I mean? Because you never can tell, and it fit on this thing nice and snug. And of course, I never store anything without packing it full of dielectric grease. So this is the one I need here, and let me see if that wiring harness fits. There it is, like a glove, guys. $14.95 for this. Again, I'll give you the link. You don't have to spend $56, $58 or whatever to get this stupid thing. That's all it is, and it's made perfectly for this this plug that's in there. So again, this is what I'm going to actually pull through and just coil up as I need it inside this compartment down here. And what I'm going to do is make what's called a strain relief on it. I'll take some of this, since there's so much wire, bend this back around, and then tie wrap that on. That way, if I ever, for some reason, pull on this, I'll be pulling on with this. It's tie wrapped to the wire bundle, not this connector, or God forbid, these pins. So that's kind of a little thing to remember. And what I'm going to do is use a different colored tie wrap on this. I use yellow. So I know the orange one holds both of these connectors to the wire bundle, and the yellow one will be just the strain relief I'm going to actually use. Like again, so if I pull on it for any reason, or something falls or whatever, it's basically going to be pulling against the wire and the tie wrap and that giant bundle in there, and none of this delicate stuff here. So basically I just need to trim that, and it's nice if you can trim it flush. Sometimes using a knife is a pain in the butt. As long as you can trim that flush, and that way it doesn't stick out, it's not sharp or nothing. I like to use these little tie wrap guns. I got this years ago, man, for just a fraction of the price they cost, and you can adjust the tension on them. This is from Harbor Freight Tools, and it basically works like a gun. You put the strip in there, and as you pull it, it tightens and then cuts itself. Nice and even. It's just a wonderful little gun to have. Again, that's tie wrapped. It's all nice and trimmed off. I guess this one here is for CV or intercom or something, which I'm never going to use that. But again, it is inside here for when I need it. This will be the speaker where I need to fish back through this before we put that in. And this wire here is going to be coming through that grommet. So let me have a look at that grommet and see if I want to make a small hole and have this tight against it, or if I just want to replace the grommet right here. Okay, that's the grommet I put in. It was just a big giant hole before and I couldn't stand it. So if I want to use that and make like a small slit, or if I just want to put in a regular grommet in there, which I'll probably do, just a normal grommet. So I'll pop this one out of here. Okay, so this is where we're at right now. We refished these through. We have the cone basically stuck in place here. This is all tie wrapped as we talked about. Again, I just need to change out the grommet before I put this back in. So let's go ahead and get this speaker back in. Again, black goes to the positive, white goes to the negative. And on these speakers, the thick tab is the positive and the thin one is the negative. So you have the speaker, the cone, the wires are all hooked up. And again, you want to start these screws by hand. No stupid screw gun. Don't start pushing on them with a screwdriver. Start them by hand so they bite into the brass nut. And then lightly go ahead and tighten them until they start to bite. Then you can use a screwdriver. The cone's installed. You can kind of see it under there, the cone that goes back. Now we just go ahead and get the grill on. Kind of overtaking this speaker off. I've done it too many times now. Again, just start it nice and light. See how it's kind of wiggling? It's because it's in the rubber. Just nice and light. Then you feel it start to bite. Again, I'm just using this. Okay, now I'll go ahead and put it on the wrench and just make sure those are snug. What I like to do, so you know, over tighten, is kind of hold it near the top. Don't come down here where you have lots of leverage. Just get up near the top. I like to alternate too, back and forth. And to find a grommet that was a little bit bigger. I wish the hole was smaller, but it's not. It's a little bit on the big side, but this is the grommet I need for this hole back here. You don't have to. I just don't like having wires pressing against any type of normal edge without the rubber being in there. So let me go ahead and pop this on. Let's take time working around. Again, that's where I'm going to fish that one single wire right there through, and then we'll work on the sponge. But I can go ahead and at least get this installed. That's what we end up looking like. You see the grommet back there, and you see this wire here. And the neat thing is, whatever you don't need, you can either just shove back in there, or you can coil it up and leave it in here. And at least this gives me a chance to pull this out and be able to change the whatever device I'm using, instead of being really short and right here trying to work on something. And as far as that sponge I made, okay, that's what color it all used to be. A couple little touch-ups here from where I was squeezing it. Then I can plug this in and just drop it in there. And I'll double check to make sure this distance, along with the jack, will clear the door. I'm hoping it's sort of snug. It'll kind of hold it in place, and then the wire can just kind of come around. So let's see how this looks inside. Oh yeah, it'll be fine. I don't think the jack is going to clear the door. Even with this sticking out, I'll have to double check that. Let me try it now. Okay, so that'll keep that from bouncing around. And it clears just fine. I just had to flip it over and make sure the jack is near the bottom. There we go. And then again, if I want to go ahead and mess around with this, I just take the whole thing out. Go ahead and make whatever adjustments I need to make, and then just put it back in. That's it, guys. So about $22, that includes taxes and shipping, from $14.95. You basically can go ahead and get this thing put together yourself. You don't even really need this if you want to just put this in a little piece of bubble wrap or something like that. I just like to have sort of something like this. I am going to touch this sponge up, make it look a little nicer. I just don't like looking in there and seeing it like that, not when the bike is so perfect. So I will go ahead and do that, but that's it. And as far as the sound, I don't even know what the heck I have on this thing. And that's the nice thing, if you use that, you can use your hand controls here. That's Song to Oblivion. And that's it, guys. That's how easy it is. Just plug that thing in there and come out with some sort of sponge and you're good to go, man, for a fraction of what they charge for that crap over other internet sites. Anyway, I'll give you the links, guys, and you know what to do. Like, subscribe, hit that bell notification for future content.